in. So I keep on saying that I was working a lot on our buyers, even though we're in listing season right now. But every couple months, I like to see that I go back over the CMA. The CMA is so important. It's such a good tool for us to close our listing appointments. You'd be surprised by the power of it, right? So I realized the last time I did this was May, April, June, June, July, August, right? We're coming up. So I think it's important I go over it at least every couple of months, because we also have lots of people coming in, lots of people who forget to use it, and lots of people who forget the tools even there in our Stratus, right? So basically, I'm just going to go share my screen here. They say that if you answer a bunch of questions for your client when you go for your listing appointment, they'll end up listing with you. So they want to know, why choose you? Why do they choose you? Why do they choose your brokerage, right? How you're going to market their property, what the commission is, what the market's looking like. So if you answer these questions for them, they're going to end up listing with you at the end of the day. And if they like you, and if they feel you're knowledgeable. So I don't know whether I should start on this end or the other end. Maybe I should start on the guts of it, where we do our CMA, and then we can go into this. These are the components that I add on to answer those questions. Okay. But in the Stratus, we have a tool here called CMA, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it today really quickly. There's so many wonderful things you can do, and it takes you 5 minutes. There's so many reports it can spit out, and as long as you have that guts ready, which I'm going to show you after, and have this portion ready, you can get to ready for your listing appointment in 5-10 minutes tops. So if someone called me now, I can be out the door. It's 10:39. I can be meeting them at 11:30. I can be out the door in the next 10 minutes. I can print this and go. And I even went for a listing appointment last week, and they said, oh, this is great. I can't believe you brought me all of this information. So what you're doing is you're showing your value as an agent. You can't show up to a listing appointment and say, I'm great, use me, or, I sold lots in this building. You have to have the proof to show it, to see what's happening, right? So the CMA, you just go into here, into your search function, you go halfway down. Sorry, let me highlight my mouse for you guys there. Okay. And this is something you should be really, really versed on doing. You don't want to sit there and go, I forgot how to do this. I forgot how to do this. Go in and practice it so you guys know and you're ready for your listing appointments. Okay. If any of you come to me and say, hey, I'm getting ready for my listing appointment, first thing I'm going to do is make you create a CMA, right? So you come in here at about, a quarter of the way down, you click on CMA. So you can see these are the recent ones that I've done. And you want to click on new. And you're just going to name the CMA whatever it is. I have 123 Main Street there. So let's do 123 John Road. Okay. And we're going to pretend it's residential freehold. And click continue. So the first thing it does is it asks for a bit of your client's information. So only the fields that have blue asterisks beside are mandatory. You don't have to fill out all this information. I find I don't even bother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Adam Smith as our client.
Just the name?
Yeah, I'm just going to put the name in. I don't have to put everything else in. Maybe I want to put the spouse in there. So maybe I'll put Mary Smith here, right? Okay. Now it's going to ask me to include a subject property in this CMA. Okay. So you want to include a subject property because what you're going to do is you're going to compare it to other things that have sold to show your client in relation to their house what you think things are going to sell for in today's market, right? So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go and pick a random house. We'll see what's in the area here. As soon as Stratus decides to catch up with me. Come on, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to search a random property. So basically what you would normally do is if your client has recently bought in the last 2 years, you can look up an unavailable search. Okay, so I'll go unavailable search. If it's beyond 2 years, you can look up something that they purchased probably back to the 80s. You know what I mean? It's not 100% accurate, but this system will go back. They try to key in a lot of things from I think the 80s on. Okay. So we're just going to do the last 2 years now. They'll say, oh, we bought this house 2 years ago. I'm going to see what they purchased. And I'm just going to pick something random around the office. So Toronto EO4. say Dorset Park. Okay, and I'm going to go submit. Okay, so we'll pretend that this 61 Virgin Road is what the client's calling. So they're saying, I'm calling you from 61 Virgin Road. I want to sell now. I just bought in 2020 and I'd like to sell. Okay, so I look up their old sale and I see, okay, they bought the house for 688. They purchased it in August 2020, right? I'm going to take this MLS number and I'm going to go back to my CMA. So I'm just going to do a quick copy. I'm going to go back to my CMA here and I'm going to ask it to fill out the information for me. So I'm going to say use. You see how it fills out all of this information for me, which is great. Now, this isn't always going to be your luck.
What did you write there?
The MLS number, right?
Can you go back?
For sure.
Yeah, where is the MLS?
The MLS number is right here under the picture, right? So I just do a double click, I copy and I go to my CMA and that's okay. And I paste it and it go use and it fills out all the information for me. Okay. You are going to get people who either bought private sale. It was never listed on MLS. They bought it in 1964, lots of different reasons. And unfortunately, you're going to have to go in and fill out this information. So where do you find this information for your client? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is, because the sales from 2020, all the information is on here, but you definitely want to ask your client some questions like, you see how this says 3 bedrooms, but no plus. Maybe in the last 2 years they bought it, they made a basement apartment. Maybe now it's a 3+2. So you want to say, since you purchased in 2020, have you done any renovations? They'll say, oh yeah, I put a basement apartment in. There's 2 bedrooms down there now. Good morning, how are you? So you want to fill in that information so it's accurate, okay? So now I put 3+2 and they said, oh yeah, there's another kitchen down there. I'm going to say 1+1, okay? The other thing I want to caution you is that when you come down to this part, this is going to say show suggested listing price range. You want to go and delete this because this is going to be, if you copy and pasted an old MLS, this is going to be old information. This is going to be, you know, especially if you're taking a listing from 1990, this is going to say that you want to sell their house for $200,000 or something. So just remember to go, if you're using if that quick tool you're using to fill all this out, you want to go and you definitely want to delete that information. And honestly, for the listing appointments, I find I never fill out that anyways, because I hate to commit to that number on paper until I've physically seen the person's house. So I might say, oh, I really think this house is worth more than the last sale because it's 3+2. And then I might go and maybe the house is not in good repair. And then I've put 950 here on their report. And I don't like to commit to that till I physically see the property. Did you have a question for me?
Yeah, second question. So I don't have any idea.
You don't have any idea. Yeah.
So how do I put new purchase price?
So we're going to do a comparison of what's selling in their neighborhood. But when you're on the phone, never discuss price, never discuss commission. You can say, oh, if they really are insisting, you'd say, oh, well, some of the things in your neighborhood is sold for this, but I never commit to a price. I say, I really need to come and educate myself about your property. I have to come in and see it face to face. You know what I mean? I'd love to take a walk through and I'll bring you some information, right? So these are going to be old pictures as well, but it's okay. It's included just for their report. It's not what you're loading the listing with. Okay. And then your information is in there. You can edit it however you want. There's a cover letter, or sorry, a cover page in here where you can put the pictures in and stuff. Again, you can edit it as you wish. There's a cover letter that it includes. It automatically spits it out. Okay. And again, you can type and edit it the way you like. And then you come to the place where you go and you can add comparables. Okay. So now I've just made this a 3+2 bedroom in Dorset Park, right? This Virgin. And it's 29 by 100-foot lot. So not that wide a lot. And it sold for $688 in 2020. But I want to see what it's selling for now. So I'm going to go into the system. You could do it 2 different ways. I'll show you both ways. So you can go here and you can search your unavailables. Now, if I'm doing a comparison right now for a property that I want to sell, I know that I can't go back more than like the beginning of June, right? Because we know March, April, May, they were kind of hot months. the price is really high and now we've taken a hit on our market, right? So I really want to make sure that I am not going back to January and pulling sales for my CMA, right? So how do I do that? I'm going to go and first I'm going to pick the area. So I'm going to do EO4 and I'm going to go Dorset Park. Okay. And then over here,
March, April, May is a high season.
like normally it is the beginning of our spring season, but we all know that the prices were crazy. You know what I mean? People were still getting 150,000 over asking. And right now that's just not happening.
But this year only, but other time.
Other years, it's normally our spring market. Yeah. Yeah. And right now is slow time, July, August. We find that everybody's off. The kids are off school. The reason why it's my explanation, I could be wrong, but basically, March, April, May, I find is really busy months because I find people want to purchase something and they want to move with their family and be settled in for the summer before school starts in September. So we see a big spring market happen. The second time we usually have a busy market is our fall market. And for a similar reason, because you know, October, November is pretty busy because everyone wants to move in before Christmas time or before the end of the year, right? So normally we see March, April may be busy anyways, but it was really crazy. But what we don't normally see is this big dip in pricing at this time. Even though we're slower and there's less sales happening in July and August, we still see the prices like maintain. But I mean, we've had a lot of changes happen this year with the rate hikes and stuff like that. So that's affecting our market.
Yeah, because with the school and holidays, some other like that.
Yeah.
One more question before that.
Yeah.
If we're comparing.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens, some guys, very emergency situation or divorce or somebody pass away, they got selling. So 1.5, they put it 950. So that means the whole area start fighting for 950 there, then they bring it down the market. Well, you know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate people who do that. And honestly, their agent shouldn't allow that to happen necessarily because, I mean, they might not get as aggressive as 1.5, but they shouldn't take such a big hit because they should be still getting some sort of fair market value for their home. Right.
Situation,
yeah. Or sometimes emergency situation, people will let it go for a little less. But what I'm saying is not that necessarily that big of a. Yeah, that's pretty big, right? So. So yeah, so if we're going to go to recent sales, what you want to do is you want to go to the sold date field here. You want to click on it. And I'm only going to go back to the 1st of June because I want to see what has sold since the 1st of June to give my client an accurate reading on what they're going to get for their property. So there's only 8 things sold. I'm just going to widen the search a little bit because I know once I click in that it's 3 bedrooms, 3 plus 2, or it's got an extra kitchen, I'm going to lessen what I have. So I have 58 properties right now. I'm going to say I want minimum of 3 bedrooms. Plus I know they have a 2-bedroom basement apartment and they have plus 1 kitchen in the basement.
During the townhouse, if you have a townhouse or something like that, there is any option for?
Yeah, there is over here. And type, you can go row townhouse or semi-detached. See? Right?
Last night I was just looking for that option.
Yeah, it's under type there. Okay, so I'm going to go and click and see what my results are now. So now, in essence, these should all be pretty comparable properties so I can tell my client what they've sold for. But what I'm going to go in is I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that some of these lot sizes are similar because I saw that lot size was kind of small. So I don't want to pick something that's 60 by 105 necessarily because it might not sell as well. Here we've got 140. That's a little closer to the 30 that this client is. So maybe I consider Gilroy a good comparison. And I'm just going to pick the next 3. Flora is a good comparison and Ed House is a good comparison. Okay. So now if I go back, I can take and I can add these to my CMA by doing the same thing I did when I went to get the subject property. I'm just going to double click and do a copy, go into my CMA, and I'm going to say add by MLS. And I'm going to add this one. And I'm going to add the next one. And then I'm going to add that one more. And we're just going to pretend that I took time because you should take your time and you should really pick what you think is comparable to the property that you're going to go see, right? So it's pretty accurate. And I'm going to add them. So now it's added them all down here. As you see, I keep on saving. Stratus is notorious for like glitching out on you because there's thousands and thousands of realtors using it. So just click save every now and then whenever you're doing something. And now you can see the subject properties are all in here. Okay. And I'm going to scroll down, and you can add attachments. Say you want to add floor plan, or say you want to add something that you created, you know what I mean? But right now I'm not going to bother with attachments. I just want to show you in a few short minutes. All I did was add my client's information. I found the old sale, so subject property. So I didn't even have to enter all that information, but I'll show you where to find that. And I went and I picked a few comparables. Okay. So those are the 3 things that I did. That's all you need to do.
So what's the last one?
Add the comparable properties, like what's sold and what you think is the property will sell for, right? And I'm going to go here to print, because I'm going to say, you know what, I want the whole report. Now you can pick and choose what you don't like and what you like about the report. So normally I never use the title page or the cover letter. I have my own. I don't need a table of contents. I never do the page numbers because I add my own pages in. It messes up the order, right? So I know what parts of this report I would like to use, but you'll get used to it as you go on. And you're going to go print. And I'm just going to go to a quick print preview. So like I say, in a matter of minutes, somebody just called you and said, hey, come, I want you to do an analysis on my property, how much you think I can sell for. You should get used to it. Client information, subject property information, comparable property information, print, go. 5-10 minutes at the door, and you have this report. See? It's a beautiful report it gives you. And it looks like you spend a lot of time on it. So you're showing your client value. You're saying, I'm already giving you, I always say to them, see, look how hard I'm working for you already, and you haven't even hired me, right? Subject property information. A gallery of what the pictures look like. A lot of people, especially if they rented their house, they love this. They go, oh my God, yeah, remember that green carpeting when we bought the house, right? They laugh at this. They like it.
You can send an email.
You can send it via email too. Hello, Jello, how are you? So here you go, and this is the subject property comparison. Okay, so it gives you a side-by-side report. It's a really great tool to show your clients, hey, look, these are really similar properties. It brings them down to saying, this is really truly the value, because look, right across the board. Now, of course, I picked random properties, so it's not 100%, but you can see right across the board, 3 + 2 bedroom, 3 + 2 bedroom, 3 + 2, 3 + 2. And they all have a kitchen downstairs, and they all have central air, and they're all similar size lots, and see how they all sold for a similar price. So that's why I'm saying that you'll fall in this price range, right? It's a good way to show your clients. They also have the comparable summary report. So it's a little different way of looking at things. They have the map. This is a great thing. I never leave the map out, because a lot of times when you're sitting with your client, they say, oh, Burgeon Street, I don't know where that is. And you say, oh, you flip to the map, you go, it's just over here. They can see that you've narrowed it down to the little pocket of their neighborhood. Market statistic report, days on market report, super important. Also something I never leave out, because I try to tell my clients, you see how this one at House listed higher, and they stayed so many extra days on the market, whereas these 2 people were comparatively priced and competitively priced, and they spent less days on the market. So it kind of brings your clients into reality, when, especially those overpriced ones, when they think they should sell so much higher than the other houses on the street, right? Okay, so that is what Stratus does for you. Okay, I'm going to sidetrack it. I'm just going to show you 2 other things real quick. So aside from going and adding the numbers and copy and pasting them, say you're in here and you're like, I think I should grab one more comparable. You can also search right from the CMA. You can go search listings. Whoopsie. Search listings. And I want available, or sorry, I want unavailable, because I want sold. And I'm going to do sold date again from June. And continue. And I'm going to go to the same place, Toronto EO4, because that's the area we've been looking in. Okay. And I'm just going to say, oh, you know what? I think I should grab that Innisdale property. I think it's really comparable, and I'm going to add it to my CMA. So I go add to comparables. Okay. And now it's added it to my list of comparables. So you can do it the copy and paste way, or you can do it right through the CMA. Both ways will add it to your report. Okay. I was also talking about what happens if your client bought the house, the original owner from the builder in 1964 and you don't have this information, okay? How are you going to find out some of the information? Well, you're going to ask them a lot of the information on the phone, right? Well, how many bedrooms do you have? Oh yeah, what size lot? They might say, I don't know the size of the lot, or I'm not sure about this, right? But get as much information as you can from them. But we'll just take 61 Virgin as an example, okay? You're going to go into, I'm just going to open another tab here. I also have 60 things open. You go into search. Okay, one of the first places you can check is public records. Okay. And in public records, you're just going to type in the address 61 Virgin. 61 Virgin Road. Okay, and so now what information is this going to give me? Okay, this is going to give me whether it's a detached, semi-detached, condo, freehold, what it is. Okay, residential, whether it's residential or commercial. It's going to give me the legal description, what you need for your MLS data sheets. It's going to tell me this is a 2-story house with a frontage of 29 by 100, right? The site area, which you don't really need. It's going to give me the last information, sale date. If it's from 1964, this more than likely will say $1 or $2 because they don't know, right? And it's also going to give me the assessed value over the last few years. So we get our MPAC in our mail every 4 years, right? 2020 is the last time somebody would have gotten an MPAC. Prices, mind you, the values didn't change much during COVID, but still they haven't seen their MPAC for 2 years. They probably don't know where it is in the house. So I always print this and take it along with the CMA. And I say, oh, I printed your most recent MPAC. And they go, oh, thank you, right? Because they don't get it now till 2024 in the mail, right? And then you go to the enhanced tab and it'll tell you a little more. So now I know it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, which I know is not updated because my client just told me on the phone that they have 2 more in the basement with an extra kitchen. They did that reno, right? Any half bathrooms, any fireplaces. I can tell the garage types, a carport. So I don't want to compare it to detached or attached garages. I want to try to look for carports in the area that have sold because that affects the price, right? Whether or not it has a pool, it doesn't say whether the driveway is private or not here, whether it's split level, whether it's on private sanitary, private water, and what the zoning code is for the property. Okay, and all you have to do to print your client the report is go to PDR here, and you can click what parts of it you want. And I go to click report. And you can spit out the MPAC report. Okay, so it's going to be logoed with your information at the top here, which is actually old. I got to change that. Okay, and then it's going to be the subject property that you wanted, all that information I told you about. But in addition to this, it gives you a map of the neighborhood, shows you where the subject property is, and it gives you demographics of the neighborhood. So this is also a good tool you can pull up for your buyers because you have those buyers that it matters to. They want to know what the demographics of the neighborhood is, which is no harm, no foul. Sometimes people are like that. I go, no problem. I go, let me pull you up the MPAC report. They can read it for themselves, right? So it'll tell you the neighborhood profile, the total population, the median age. So is it an elderly kind of neighborhood or is it kind of new families? You know what I mean? They might ask you that, is it lots of kids in the neighborhood? You know what, let me pull up the demographics and see what the age is in the neighborhood, right? Total number of households, average income, kind of gives you the area it's analyzing. So what neighborhood you're analyzing, does the house they're purchasing fall in that? And then it gives you just that same information in charts and graphs, right? So it's a good report for your clients, whether they're selling or buying, really and truly. So I always print that for the sellers, okay? Another place you can go to for information to fill out that that part of the CMA, if you don't have the subject property, is Geo Warehouse. So you can go in here and you can go down just below public records and go to Geo Warehouse. And you should be pulling this all the time anyways, getting ready for your listing appointments because this is part of your due diligence, okay? So if Mr. Smith calls me and Mr. and Mrs. Smith are on title and only Mr. Smith signs, you do not have a valid sale. You cannot sell that property. You have to make sure you're checking title every listing appointment you go on because you need to know how many signatures you need to sell that property. Super important, okay? So we're gonna go to 61 Virgin again.
What is common law partner also?
Yeah, common law partner. So the thing is it's 2 different things, okay? If they're on title, So whether they're common law, whether they're divorced, whether they're just best friends, 2 people on title, 2 signatures, no matter what. 1 person on title, but you get there and there's a woman there and they're not married, but they've been talking about, you know, how they've lived together in this house for the last 6 years. You want to grab spousal consent because in the eyes of the law, they're common law, right? I think you're common law after living together for 6 months or something like that, right?
2 years.
Is it 1 year? 2 years? All these different answers. Which is it? 6 months, 1 year, 2 year? Regardless, if you were the slightest bit unsure, just ask them to sign the spousal consent. There's always spousal consent on our forms and there's no harm in it. You know what I mean? If they're not a title owner, but you're unsure, I always get spousal consent. Yeah. Okay. So when you go to Geo Warehouse, I typed in 61 Virgin and the search results bring up this little pocket at the side saying, oh, is this the property you're looking for? So I'm like, yep, let me see the property report on that. And I open it and I can see that 61 Virgin is owned by Ada Kun Yi Tang. Okay. So 1 person on title. So I know that when I go to see Ada for this listing appointment, I only need her signature. Right. Okay. So again, it gives me some information that to fill out that form. I can see 688, that the lot's 29 by 100. The assessed value that we saw in the MPAC is listed on there. Again, it gives me the legal description, but it also gives me information about title. So it not only tells me that Ada's on title, but I can, if I scroll down, see everybody that's owned the property. See how it goes back to 1987, right? So I can see before Ada, it was Tuan who owned it, then Penelope, and then before that it was George, right? So different things happen again, and I can go over Geo Warehouse and titles with you guys, but you can sort of see when you say George Arthur Ellis, then it went transferred into Penelope Ellis's name, right? Transmission by personal representative land. So I would imagine that, I'm just guessing, maybe George was Penelope's father and he's passed, and this has been a transfer of the property into Penelope's name, right? Then Penelope went and sold it to Thuan for 164. Then Thuan went and sold it to Ada for 688, right? Just some good information that you can give your client. And again, you're telling them things that they don't know about their property. So this person purchased the property in 2020. They've been there 2 years, but I can give them the whole history. I can tell them, you know, if there's any easements on the property by looking at their MPAC. It didn't say anything there, I don't believe. Let me pull it back up. I can tell them if there's any easements on their property. A lot of times they don't even realize the previous realtor hasn't told them. I can tell them all that title information and who owned the property before them and what the sales amount were. I can tell them their MPAC value. I'm telling them the comparable sales in the neighborhood. I'm pulling up their old sale. Value at the end of the day, because they're going to say, there's no reason not to list with you. You know everything about this house. You know more than I do. And I've lived here, right? So I'm just pulling up that again to see if there's any easements. Plan, Virgin, distant measured. Let me just see here. Along the center party. Subject to, I don't know, it doesn't say easement though. So a lot of times there's easements put on these properties from hydro, gas, Bell, from when these properties are built and they never get taken off. So don't always get worried if you see an easement on the property. It's not a terrible thing necessarily. And it might be there for reasons. Sometimes the city has one because there's a sewer located somewhere in the back of the backyard, and they might, you know, if anything happened, God forbid, need to come through that property and have the right to come through that property and dig or something like that, right? So if you come across something and you're not sure about an easement or something, you can just ask me. So now I'm going to go on to the extra guts that I put into the report. Okay, so I'm going to close out of Stratus for now. Everybody good there online? Everybody follow along online? Nothing you want me to go over again? I'm just going to stop the share for a second, make sure you guys are good. All right, so I'll go back to this. So I always get asked the question, so should I print this or should I just bring it on my iPad or my laptop and show my client? That looks more professional now because, you know, we're in the techie age. So I say, go for it. Bring your laptop, bring your screen, bring your projector, bring your slideshow, do whatever your forte is, bring it and show it. Definitely impress your client, but never mistake the power of printing it. Always print it as well, because what I do, I brought this, I show you guys all the time. I literally just buy these at the dollar store. I take my report, I stuff it all in here and I go and I leave it. Because if they don't sign with me right there and then what happens now? I'm on their coffee table. I'm a reminder of how much work I did, and they have all this information. And I put like the fun stuff in, like I say, their impact, their demographics. So, you know, I always print their old sales. So they go, oh yeah, I remember when we bought it off of this, you know, we saw it online. So it's a good tool. Like I say, but I don't say, like, I mean, show them that you're a techie realtor, bring your laptop, bring your iPad or whatever, and do your presentation, do your PowerPoint, whatever you want to do, but bring something to leave in front of them, right? Because your little business card isn't enough sometimes. And I have people say to me all the time, without fail, right till just as recent as last week, go, wow, I can keep this. Oh, that's a lot of information. Thank you so much, right? They always ask if they can keep it because they like it, right? They like that information, people like to get stuff, right? I always joke about the grandpa. I'm sure some of you are so sick of my story. Anybody who knows me a long time. I had a grandpa at the school one time, and we were talking, and I said, oh yeah, you know, summer holidays are upon us, and I'm so busy with the kids, and real estate's always crazy at this time. And he goes, oh yeah, you're a real estate agent. He goes, I want to sell, you know, this property. And I said, oh, okay, no problem. I said, well, you know, I can come after I drop the kids off from school and, you know, do a presentation. He's like, oh, you know, I just interviewed someone else's, you know, and someone else, other woman in the school knew a realtor. It was their daughter or their niece or something. And I said, okay, fine, no problem. I said, but I love the opportunity. So I came and I dropped the book, and he goes, oh, wow. He goes, it took the other lady 2 days to come, and she didn't even bring me a piece of paper. And we just had the appointment. And he goes, I just saw you at school and mentioned it. And a half hour later, here you are with all this information. So people are impressed, right? Because they feel, and then, you know, I ended up getting the listing. So people are impressed, definitely. Even like the people that know you might not be hiring you just because you know them. Don't take that for granted. Just because I know this person at school, unless I remind them and I come to impress, they're not going to automatically use you, right? At the end of the day. So we go back to answering everybody's questions. Sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, a lot of things, you know, we have to do practice. We cannot remember.
Practice, I'm telling you, constantly. You'll forget how to do it if you're not doing it, right? You have to get in there, go, pretend, make one for the house that you live in, compare it to the things that have sold in your neighborhood, print it out, see what it looks like, see how you can tweak it to make it look impressive, right? Like just whatever you can. See how you can make it automated on your laptop, you know what I mean? Just to go like a slideshow if you want. So anything, do whatever you want, give it your own flair. But like I say, the guts have to be there. You have to have what's sold. Here's the value I'm offering. This is what I do. So in order to push that, because Stratus just gives us the actual statistics of what we need, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do. And it's 100% what I use. You guys can take it. I always say you take it and tweak it and make it your own. I can share this with everybody in the office. So the first thing I was talking about is why me. So I'll open up my why me. So why choose me? I always say 2 things I can promise you. Nobody outworks me. Okay. I will always tell you the truth. My track record of selling compared to the competition is 3 to 1. And when you hire me, I have to update this because this is my version I used to use, but now because we're Team Sapphire, so some of this stuff is outdated. When you hire me, you hire 90 plus realtors. So a couple things in here. I say nobody outworks me. I always remind my clients, I'm not a passive agent. I'm not going to throw your listing up on MLS and let it sit. I actively work on it the whole time it's up, whether that means I'm making, and you'll see when I do the breakdown of what I do to market the property, but I'm actively working on it. Okay. 2, I'll always tell you the truth. I never go into a client's and I always say to my clients, you want me to tell you the truth or you want me to lie to you? So if I lie to you and you say, oh, I want to sell it for $1 million, and I go, okay, just to get the listing and walk out of there, and I don't educate you on what I really think it can sell for, you're going to sit on the market, then what's going to happen? You're going to be mad at me anyways, because you're going to feel like I'm not doing a good job. So if there's no point, I'm always really upfront. If I come into your house, you got to find nice ways though. Like my client, I'm about to put up a townhouse next week. I'm like, he's kind of hoardery. So you find polite ways to say things. I say, no, you know what? I said, give me clear floors, clear surfaces for the pictures. You don't want to say, clean this up. It's a mess. It looks awful, right? I said, just get a bunch of Tupperwares from Walmart or something, shove them in your closets. Nobody going to look at them. I said, but I want clear floor, made beds, clear surfaces for the pictures. I said, that's the best you can do to get more value, more money for you at the end of the day. Right. So you got to find nice ways to always tell your clients the truth. Don't walk in and say, oh, it's okay. It's really hard. I went through years of, oh, it's tough to tell them that they really need to clean that up or declutter. Right. but you realize that it's not just for you. Don't feel bad about being rude, because it's for the benefit of your client. At the end of the day, you're doing them a benefit, right? My track record of selling compared to the competition is 3 to 1. So you guys can look, if you're not actively selling right now, if you're new, you don't have to put this in here. But if you look on the Toronto Real Estate Board, a lot of guys were, I don't know, 65,000 of us or something like that. I think 4% of us are active full-time working and like making the top sales kind of thing. It's not hard to get a good track record if you're actively selling. And then when you hire me, you hire 90 plus realtors. So here I'd say 130 plus realtors. That if I open up my team Sapphire one, it probably says that. And that just means don't forget the strength of your brokerage. I keep reminding you guys, it's good to be part of a good team. We're independent contractors. There's no reason to work against each other. We should work together, right? So that means that, you know, you have a listing on a street that I'm going for a listing appointment. I'm going to pull your listing up and use it and say, we just sold on this street. It's the almighty we. I keep on reminding you guys, right? So especially good for new agents to use because you don't have any sales in those neighborhoods. Pull up and see what the brokerage has done in those neighborhoods, right? And then my objectives: to expose your property to as many qualified buyers, to communicate with you on a weekly basis, you know, tell you what's happening on the market, how the public's reacting to your property. Super important to get that feedback for your client. I know we get bombarded and you guys will see when it happens. Every property you show, you're getting asked for feedback, but it's important to physically call, get that feedback, because it could be something that you don't see that was wrong that all these buyers are seeing, that the reason why the house is sitting on the market. So definitely good to how the public is reacting. I'm going to go on to the next slide though, but basically you can use this and you can tweak it to make it what suits you. You know what I mean? I'm a really hard worker. I'm a good communicator. I speak 7 languages. Whatever your talent is, put it on here. Why do you hire me? Right? Then you're going to go on to why choose my brand? Why are you choosing a RE/MAX agent? Okay. So I have some stats on here. Honestly, I never, ever, ever, ever read these stats to my clients. Super boring. They don't want to hear when it was founded. It's in there. It's in the book. I push the most important things to them. So we're reviewed 3 to 1 online. Okay, RE/MAX has a strong online presence. They push their SEO marketing. So when I list a condo and I say, you know, people do an organic search online and they say condo in Scarborough, RE/MAX agents, condos are popping up 3 to 1 for other brands. There's just marketing is online. Online is fantastic. Okay, that's why we get all those good leads and stuff from the lead system in our RE/MAX back office, because whatever algorithm they're doing is working because it's coming to our phones. We're getting good exposure. Everybody knows who RE/MAX is. They're just good marketing, period. Right? So I always tell people, top notch, your listing is going to fly online 3 times more than any other brand you hire today. So that's why you hire RE/MAX. But again, you guys just can Google some facts or ask me for the sheets, steal these facts. They're not my facts. They're RE/MAX facts. So just take it and use it in your CMA. And then I'm going to go my listing plan of action. So everybody wants to know, what are you going to do to market the property? Okay. I always caution people because I've run into, because I've shared this for 10 years now that I've been doing this. And some people copy paste, they put it in their CMA and they don't realize anything. And I had someone come to me and said, my client was really mad at me because, you know, they said that you're going to call everybody in the neighborhood. And they asked me if I did the calls and they were upset with me, right? Don't lie. Do what you're going to do. Actually put in how you're going to market the property. If you're not going to door knock and you're not going to call, you're not going to send out just listed flyers, don't put it in there. But figure out what your forte is. So I'm not a real like social media person. I don't go too much online and blast out I might just post that I've listed it, but beyond that, I don't. My things are I usually call the neighborhood, do my just listed calls, do my just listed flyers. So this is what I put on how I'm going to market your property for my clients, right? I tell them, I go, everybody in your neighborhood is going to know that your property is for sale. 6 degrees of separation. Somebody knows somebody who's going to move into this neighborhood and we're going to sell it, right? So that's what I put in here. Again, you guys are welcome to take it, tweak it to make it your own. And then my favorite slide, the commission. Everybody always wants to know, what commission are you charging? So I'm going to ingrain this in you. So it's a memorized thing, especially for new agents coming in. How do you get more commission at the end of the day? So everybody's going to say to you, I want 1% commission. We all know that's what everybody advertises on the backs of the buses, on billboards, everything. They say, I want 1% commission. Can you do it for 1? I say, sure, let me break it down for you. Okay. 5% is what all negotiations start at. Sorry, I'm just going to highlight my mouse here for people online. So we starting at 5%. We're going to say 5% is a standard, industry standard. Okay. I'm not going to touch the 2.5 going to the co-op. And I always tell them, you know, unless it's a trend in the neighborhood where you see everybody's doing 2.25, don't do it, right? Because other agents aren't going to come and show your property. And the less agents coming to show your property, the less you're going to push your price up, right? The less people you have fighting over your property. So I'm not going to touch the co-op agent side. I'm going to go to my side. My side's 2.5. Okay. Of that 1.25 and 1.25, I share with my office. They don't know what our splits are. This is where the public gets a little bit iffy because they don't understand our 70, 30, 20, whatever your split is with the office, 15, 85, you know, they don't understand those splits. So if you just say to them plainly, well, 1.25 of my 2.5 goes to the office, fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 0.25 off and I'll do it from my side for you, just like the other agent said. And they go, okay, great. So what happens at the end of the day is we all know that other agent is listing for a 3.5 total, right? If by showing them this diagram, you get them to agree, you coming home with 4.75 instead. Do we understand? No? Okay. So of 5, 2.5 and 2.5. 2.5 has gone to the co-op. Forget about that 2.5. Okay. 2.5 of mine, most agents out there are saying they'll do it for 1%, which means of 2.5, they're only getting 1%. Okay. But if you break it down further like this and show people of my 2.5, I'm sharing 1.25 with the office, right? I'll take 0.25 off, right? And I'll do 1% for you as well. They hear you saying 1%, but you're not walking away with like 1% of your 2.5. You're walking away with 2.25 of your 2.5%. Do you understand? You're getting more commission at the end of the day, right? And it works, right, Saraf? Yes. Do you ever take less commission now or no? Exactly.
Question,
Don't do it.
Sometimes even work for 6%.
See? Hi, Mala. Sorry, what were you saying?
Question I have, how do you put this in writing? You are saying, you're mentioning this to the client, but how do you put that in writing?
So when you have the listing agreement, what you're going to do is you have to put the total down. So actually, it's a good idea. Let me pull up our listing. It's a really good question. Let me share our listing agreement on Treb here. I'm just going to pull it up on web forms real quick. So it doesn't matter if I pull up Brampton or not, but I was just looking for a Toronto listing agreement there. Oh, I don't want commercial. Hold on.
So you're just putting, I understand the offer letter, I have seen it. Agreement of purchase and sale. So instead of putting 2.50, you just put 2.25.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I don't put 2.25 because here, I'm just going to show you real quick here.
Okay.
Whenever I go for a listing appointment, okay, I find a lot of us fill out this information for our client. And then they come down here and they leave this blank because they're expecting negotiation with their clients. I always put 5 and then I go 2.5. I fill out my form ahead of time. I don't care what the client has to say. If they sign, they sign. If they don't, right? And I'm explaining it to them. I'm going through the whole document with them. It's not like I'm trying to trick them. I'm going to say total 5. And of that 5, 2.5 is going to the co-op, right? Now, while I'm with them there, if they go, well, wait, that guy said he'd do it for 1%. I pull up my chart. I go through the chart. They've agreed. I cross this 5 out with my pen. Of course, I can't do that right now. Or on Authentisign. And I put 4.75 here, right? Because no matter what, I'm still giving 2.5 to the co-op. This is the total amount we're collecting from the client, right? So then I'd change it. But I usually like to see that 5 there because when people see you slash out that 5, put 4.75, then I make my client initial it. Oh, you have to initial it for my office because I'm giving you a discount on the commission. People like to see that physically. Whereas if it's blank, you take it blank, they're going to know that there's some room for you to negotiate there. I always put 5. I go, no, my office standard is 5. You know what I mean? And then if they ask you for less, if they say, yeah, but no, I'm pretty sure that guy's doing okay. You know what? If you beat that guy, if you do it for 4 or 4.5, you know what I mean? then I'll use you because the other guy said 1, so you have to beat him. Like, you know, sometimes they get in these silly negotiations with you. Call us, pretend to call me something, because we used to do with my old office. They were great. He was the broker of record there was really nice. He'd say, call me and just pretend. Say, I don't know, I have to call my broker of record. I'm not sure if I can do that low commission. Right? Because the thing at the end of the day is they want to see that you're offering them a discount, you're offering them value, right? We're in sales at the end of the day. You have to know how to negotiate, right? But yeah, that's where you change it, Mala. Do you see there?
We usually the same day we take the listing, but sometimes they go after 1 week, talk about these percentages. But we can be actually,
Like, what do you mean? They'll say, hey, you know what? I don't like the percentage you gave me.
yeah, they said after 1 week.
But the thing is that like you've already signed the document with me. I don't understand. Say, don't forget, I'm offering you lots of value. I always let my clients know I'm putting in a lot of money. And if you don't sell, you don't ever have to pay me a dime. So it's in my best interest to sell it for you for a high dollar, right? So when we sat down and talked, since then, I took all my photography. I loaded everything on social media. My designer worked on, you know, creating the just listed. I printed these flyers. I spent hours and hours on the phone making my just listed calls. And now you want to discuss commission with me. Why? You're getting a good response to your listing. You have lots of people coming through the door. You know what I mean? Like, you have to say, like, if they, it's kind of a mean thing to do. It's like going to the store, buying something, and then coming back a week later saying, no, I didn't want to pay $40 for that dress. I only want to pay 30 for it now, right? Like, you can't, you know, you can't do that, really.
They're okay for 5% when take the listing after, you know, the people talk, you know, why.
Yeah. Just say, no, say what my biggest line is, if they say, well, that guy, because we were going over objectives a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys remember, my favorite line to say is, well, if that realtor can't defend their own worth, how are they going to defend the worth of your property? They're not a good negotiator then. Obviously, if I'm fighting for myself and my own commission, I'm going to fight for your property. You know that I have the gumption to do that, right? That I'm a good negotiator that way. So, but like I say, people don't complain as long as you're showing them value at the end of the day, right? Just show them this value, show them that you're bringing all this information, you're armed with information, you're educated, you know what's happening in the neighborhood, you've given them, you know, you've already put in time and energy into giving them information, you'll be fine, right? The only other thing I put in is the current market. Again, this is not going to be valid because I don't use the CMA very often. The average days on market is 19. There are 9,042 sales monthly. Average price on Treb is 820. So again, I just give them a real general what's happening in the market. Again, I showed you guys where to find that. You can go on Treb Market Watch, right? And find those statistics. And then the last thing I include is thank you and referrals. So I always just say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss this. If you know any friends, family, whatever, working with any, if you know, I'd love to work with you in the near future, give me the referrals. You also have to ask, because people don't think just because they used you, then their cousin says, oh, I'm thinking of selling. They go, great. But if you give them a reason or an incentive, I don't know, I'll give you, you know, I have these, you know, I'll give you a gift card. I'll treat you to dinner, like, you know, give them a keg gift card or something. Say, you know, when you refer your cousin to me, I'll give you a keg gift card. Something just to, at the end of the day, to say thank you. So they remember to refer you. Because again, what you're constantly doing is you're looking to always grow and expand your network, grow and expand your network. That's your goal from today on, is always growing and expanding your network for your business.
So if anybody give reference, they have anything like facilities.
So you're not allowed to really give a referral fee to anybody unless they're a professional, like a lawyer. Say a lawyer refers to you, or a home inspector refers to you, to a maximum of 1,000, and it has to be completely disclosed on the deal, and there'll be a check cut properly from the brokerage towards that referral, right? That's why I say it doesn't have to be something official. I wouldn't put that I'm giving you, you know, cash back if you refer me, your cousin or something. You know what I mean? But like you'd have to just get something with your network, especially a close network, saying, okay, anybody who, you know, shouts my name online to people looking for a realtor and they use me, you know what I mean? I'm gonna treat you to dinner, something nice. You know what I mean? Like $200-300 dinner. Thank you just for saying my name online and someone referring me, right? So something, you got to get your network working for you, basically, at the end of the day. Everybody good there online? Oh, did someone write something in the chat? Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. So you call the broker of record on the spot? Yes, I do. We used to call. You can call me, just call me and we'll have a pretend conversation. If you guys want, if you guys will have to look like you're negotiating and someone's really hosing you for commission and you don't want to give it because they want drone photography and you don't want to go below 4%, you can say, I don't know, let me call the broker real quick and then just call me. And I'll, we'll have, hey, how's it going, Mala? Great. The weather's nice. Great. You get off the phone, you go, okay, they said this is one time I can do this, but don't tell your friends that I ever did this commission because I don't want to have to work for this all the time. I always tell people when I give them a good commission, I'm like, don't tell me anybody you refer to me that I gave you this commission. If I give them something a little lower, because I don't want that to be the trend. I don't want to be the cheap realtor. I don't want them to say, she worked for me for 4% or 3.5. So call her because she'll probably do the same for you. I always tell them, please don't, if there's some reason that I've lowered it. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, I will say, don't walk out of there and not get the listing. Try everything you can. But if you walk out because you're not doing it for 3.5, well, the next guy's getting 3.5. And it's better something than nothing. Like I say, even if you're only getting 1%, you're still getting buyers from that deal. You're getting exposure from your sign. You're getting so much from having a listing, right?
In Brampton or 3.5.
I know. Some markets are difficult to work in. Yeah. And I don't understand because these guys are ruining the industry. The thing is that by the time they don't take things into consideration, they're looking at quantity, not quality. First of all, I can guarantee you that they're constantly looking for business, right? But like 10 years from now, where's the repeat and referral, right? But the other thing is that when you do that, they're not taking into account, like, it's not only, okay, $200 with the pictures, $100 to print, $300 to send the things out in Canada Post. I spent $500 on this listing, right? That's not too much. What about the insurance we paid a year? What about the dues we pay to Treb? What about the gas, the insurance on our cars, the maintenance, the upkeep? There is a lot of expenses involved in what we do in the year, right? So insurance for Treb, for Rico, I think it's like $475 for the year or something, isn't like that? Yeah, per year. But
plus 200 something.
Where's 5? It's 5.
Yeah.
500, I think so. Because I just received mail from Rico.
Yeah, did it go up this year? 5 something?
Yes.
It's fluctuated over the years. It's been as high as like 525 and as low as 390. So I don't know what I think it goes based on how many claims maybe they've had for the year, or whatever they do. But I don't know, you just pay it. You got to pay it, right? You got to be bonded and insured. So, but yeah, they don't take into consideration all that stuff, right? So, don't do it to your industry. Like I say, I went to a conference once, Rob Vivian, the course we took there, Rob Vivian says to me, he goes, I was following behind, and I won't repeat the name. I was following behind a guy on the bus and it said 1%. And he goes, I got in my car right away. And I said, hi, I see your bus ad here and I'm behind you. And he goes, change it. You're killing our industry. We're working full time. You know what I mean? We're like, this is our job. We have mouths to feed, bills to pay. And why spend all that time and energy and work for like nothing, for pennies? Because you're putting all this money into the listing, right? And he goes, right enough. A couple of weeks later, I saw the same bus ad and he changed it. Because you know what I mean? Like, it's killer when you do that. I discourage you guys. It's such an easy thing to do, to advertise, to say, hey, I'll work for 3.5. Don't show your value. Instead, get them to call you for a different reason. Do you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Because like you say, in Brampton, you're saying it's going to be impossible. I don't work much in Brampton, so impossible to get more than 3.5, right? Well, that's sad.
But they can't fix for the revamp for this like percentage.
I wish they would. I wish they would. I wish they would fix it. Honestly, it should be a standard.
Everything they have to protect us. They
Mhm.
say no. 5%.
I know.
You can't work
I know.
Now, whatever in Brampton agent come here, they say 3 or 5, 3.5.
Forget that. I lost a listing once on Gatewin, 34 Gatewin. I went there for a listing appointment and they told us that they're listing for, I think it was a total of 2. You know what? I'm going to look up the sale real quickly. You guys are here. And it was one of these brokerages, these discount brokerages. And I went for the listing appointment and I thought the guy was crazy. I'd never heard of it before. I said, a total of 2, both listing and co-op. I said, no. And he goes, no, for real. And I said, okay, fine. And I didn't take it because 3.5 is hard enough to take, let alone like a total of 2. And these guys did. And it's this one brokerage out, I think they're in Mississauga or Brampton, and they're doing it for a 2% total. Let me just pull it up real quick here. I'm gonna out these guys here on my YouTube channel. Caitlin. Oh, no. Oh no, not Peel. Sorry. Toronto. 9. Okay, so the most recent sale on this one is 2021. Remax Accord. Well, did it sell again? Interesting.
So
Okay, so see co-op brokerage commission 1%. Please see brokerage remarks. Fine, 24 hours notice for showing. This guy told me that it was a total of 2%. And I said, no. I said, you mean the agent would work for 2%, but they're offering the co-op 2.5. No, total of 2%. And I was like, no, I'm sure you have it mistaken. I said, nobody does that. It's 2.5. Sometimes you see 2.25 or 2 even. I go, but the total isn't 2. I go, I think you've mistaken with that broker. Just say, no. And I said, okay, fine. I lost this listing in 2020. Co-op commission 1%. And they were only paying the listing 1%, I know. And it was this Modern Solution Realty in, I think they're Mississauga or something. Yeah, Mississauga. And I'm like, what? I've never heard of that before. So let's hope that trend, like 3.5 is bad enough. Let's hope this trend doesn't come around. Because I mean, then what's the point of working? You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty hard.
But we are the buyer, they're very interested to buy this house. So how do they own this house? How do we do it?
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, yeah, again.
We have to take from the buyer. They say.
Yeah, because your BRA does say that if you don't find 2.5, they'll pay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a repeat client if you make them pay the difference, right, as the buyer, but I don't know. That's why I say it's terrible to see that. I was so mad not to have the listing, and then so mad that it was actually 1% because I thought for sure that seller was mistaken. You know what I mean? But then I saw it and I was like, oh God, okay. So
other question is referral.
yeah.
Like your agent and somebody friends or something referral. Yeah, you can pay that cash or you can pay check. Is the policy allowed?
Okay.
So we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to. But if you have some kind of agreement and you trust them, like it's your cousin and he's a lawyer and you're gonna get that going, fine. Technically, any referral fee you give is supposed to be disclosed on paper, and then Joanne cuts the check. And it's a maximum of $1,000. So if you guys do anything, I know there's lots of people out there doing it because they say that, you know, their home inspectors or their cousins or whoever, you know, that my aunt works for the school and she refers me to a lot of people, something like that. If you have some arrangement, just make sure it's something that you trust, something that's not on paper, you're not advertising it. And it's just some sort of agreement amongst you and friends or you and family, because like it's against RICO, right? RICO only allows us those referral fees, and it has to be to another professional industry.
And then you can pay the case ticket or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's allowed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like you can give whatever you want to your client. That's really generous, right? Saying, you know, I'm going to give you a vacation ticket if you buy referral. Yeah. Yeah. If someone's giving you a lot of referrals, you can do whatever you want with your money and gift them, right? You can't just say it's a referral fee because then it has to be on paper. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. It's safer to do it in the form of a gift.
This was with the property, the referral fee that I can say we give them $500.
Not if you're keeping it on the down low, you know what I mean? Like not if it's just something on the regular doing. That's why I suggested dinner, because a gift is something safer. You can say, I just gave them a gift as a thank you, right? Whereas if you're giving like cash and money, it comes in that gray area where RICO says we can't do cash back. We can't do referral fees unless they're disclosed, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, but if you are just like I say, I mean, everybody's doing it. If your cousin refers you to everybody who comes through his auto mechanic shop, then give them a kickback, but just don't, if your clients ever find out, they can go to RICO and say you never disclosed that. I didn't know that the cousin referred because he was getting $500 every referral. He can file a big complaint with RICO on you, right? So you just have to be careful. Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. You guys have a lovely week. I've kept you guys a little extra today. Lots to go over. I'm telling you, every time I go over the CMA subject, I think of 10 other things I can go over. Honestly, there's so much more we could do. We didn't even get to touch on listing paperwork or anything, but I'm sure we'll do another day where we do the listing appointment and we'll go over that. Everybody have a lovely week. I will see you guys all at the barbecue. Who's coming to the barbecue? All you guys online coming to the barbecue? Yeah, I know. Let me know, guys. Shoot me an email. Let me know. Talk to you soon.
I'm coming.
Yes.